Midwestern movie reviewer here with another movie review. I recently saw Kraven the Hunter. How long have we been waiting to see Kraven the Hunter? Way too long. This movie was supposed to come out, get this y'all, in January of 2023. It's almost January of 2025. So they showed a preview of this probably back in 2022. And we're saying, get ready for it. And so years later, you're like, why do they keep telling us about this movie and it never comes out? Well, it finally came out. I saw it tonight. It was really good. There were some things about it that I liked and didn't like. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be real politically correct with this because I want to give you an accurate depiction of what this movie was about and what it was like. But I will not do spoilers, so you can see what I'm going to tell you about in the trailer.
Around taking names.
My son.
And he decides who to free and who to blame.
Yes, an animal stronger than you can imagine.
Who'll stand up.
Tell me about this hunter.
Some are born and some are dying.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
You think you're some kind of honor? Some kind of code?
There'll be unjust dealing.
You're just another man
Whoever is righteous,
hunting for a trophy.
let him be righteous still.
Just like our father.
First of all, this movie's rated R. It's a anti-hero type movie, kind of like a Deadpool. Not in the same vein as Deadpool, but having some superpowers. And he's not like Superman, he's not for justice and the American way and all this. He's definitely not that. So he could be an anti-hero or a supervillain is the two terms that I had heard. So first of all, we'll discuss why was it delayed. There were several things that happened. It had been delayed by schedule conflicts. There was a SAG-AFTRA actor strike that delayed things. There was Sony saying, hey, let's do some more reshoots. Let's do some more CGI and different effects. Let's change that up. Also, let's change the schedule so we're not competing with other superhero movies, probably that Deadpool and some of those movies. So all these different things just kept pushing it back. So we finally got the movie. I'll go into some of the things I liked and didn't like in a little bit. But first, let's talk about some of the cast. And at the end of the video, I will do a little bit of a golden nugget so that some things that maybe you wouldn't have researched on your own, but are kind of interesting tidbits about this movie. It was well cast. There was Aaron Taylor Johnson as the main character, Kraven the Hunter. There was Russell Crowe playing his father. His brother was played by, I'm going to say his name is Fred Hetchinger. I don't really know the correct pronunciation, but that's what it looks like to me. Not familiar with that actor. There was Ariana DeBose, who I love her. You've seen her. If you like musicals, she's been in a lot of musicals. She was also in ISS, the International Space Station movie. She was great in that. It was so suspenseful. If you like a space movie, watch that. Great movie, especially her performance. These other two actors I was not familiar with. Well, no. Alessandro Nivola, I think I saw him in Jurassic Park before. Also, Christopher Abbott. He looks familiar to me. But this movie was directed by J.C. Chander. I was not familiar with a lot of his work. I had heard of A Most Violent Year. It's got some notable actors in it, so I'm going to try to check that out since I did enjoy this one. One of the first things I noted about this movie is when it first started, it felt very thirst trappy. You know, somebody who's ripped and shirtless and greased up, and you're like, okay. And I'm a human being. I will fall for a thirst trap. I just got to be honest with you. Gorgeous guy, gorgeous girl, whoever it is, I will get enwrapped by a movie that has that going for it. So, sue me. Anyway, so yes, he's gorgeous, he's ripped. Anybody who is a fan of him, has seen him dancing on YouTube or whatever, you're going to enjoy that part of this. But it also, although I liked it, I felt a little guilty. I felt a little guilty about that. So let me know what you think in the comments about that part of it. Another thing I actually did love was that it's a complex character. I mean, like I said, it's not straight good or bad. So you're struggling with your feelings as you're watching this. You're like, do I root for this person? Do I think that they're a bad person? And in today's climate, it's really apropos, actually. You have this character who is going after bad guys, okay? But not for the sake of good, but also, it's so complex. I can't express it enough, and I don't want to spoil it for you. But think about how recently this young man killed a CEO of a healthcare, like a insurance company, who was not being fair to the patients and denying claims of sick people. That seems so crummy and slimy, but then also it's cold-blooded murder. So you're like, oh, do I want them to put this guy in jail because he broke the law? Or do I root for this person who did something bad because they did something for a cause that you think is a just cause? So, it's so twisted and complex. And that's this movie. Very complex. Do you root for Kraven? Do you think he's doing the wrong thing for a good reason? Very complex. I love that. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is on my I liked it and I didn't like it list. So first of all, I liked it. His acting as the abusive father of these two characters, the two sons, he was great. His Russian accent was good. He was very believable. I enjoyed his performance. I'm a Russell Crowe fan from way, way, way back. So I love to see him in a movie. But you'll find out why I didn't like it too. The CGI in this, because it does involve hunting, big game, different superhero type creatures, and displaying those abilities. I love CGI. You could tell it was CGI. Some of it wasn't great CGI, but there was so much that was really good that it was enjoyable. It made it entertaining. So it could have been better, and apparently they redid some stuff, so I'm like, how bad was that stuff? Maybe it'll be in some extras or something, but yeah, still not fantastic, and this was redone, so I don't know. Enjoyable, but could have been much better. I've seen some CGI lately that you couldn't tell. You got really, really into it. And this you would get taken out just a smidge by some of the CGI. Also, there were some really sweeping, amazing looking visuals. Some of the scenes in Africa, different countries, Russia. Well done. Love that. The music was engaging. Did a nice soundtrack. Those are the things I had going for it. Okay, some things I didn't like about it. Aaron Taylor Johnson, as gorgeous as he is, his acting is not Oscar worthy in this. It's good, but it could have been better. So I would like to see him take some acting lessons. For example, I recently saw Gladiator, and there was an actor in that, I think Paul Mescla or something like that. His acting is fantastic. So believable. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson needs to get with his acting coach so you can get more, because he had so much that he could have brought a little bit more emotion to where just the anger with his father, some of these hurt feelings, I wish it had brought something to me. I didn't feel a whole lot watching this besides the thirst trap stuff, sadly. It could have brought so much more emotion to this, and so that was disappointing. Okay, moving past how awful I am and shallow, this movie's pretty long. It was a little over 2 hours and 7 minutes. Add some trailers in there, and you're practically there for 3 hours. It was really a long experience at the movies, and I really love a movie that's between an hour and a half to hour 45. So that way it's just a little over 2 hours with trailers. I don't know. That's how I feel. Last thing that I did not like was, okay, you've got him and you got Ariana DeBose in this. You got Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ariana DeBose, and they have a relationship. You see this in the trailer. It's kind of a spoiler. Do I say it? I'm going to say this about movies in general, okay? And I guess you've probably seen the trailer that there's not romance. There's no kissing. There's no kissing. They're taking the romance out of these movies for some reason. Why are they doing this? Is it trying to not have to portray a woman as a love interest and let them be a character that's fully flesh or something? I don't know. But as somebody who's like a romantic, I like a romance. So Hollywood, you can stick a romance in there and still have the person be a fully fleshed character. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Put some romance back into these movies. Golden nugget time. Okay, since this is based on a comic book, I wanted to know a little bit of the backstory on that. This character was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, based out of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book series. So he was a Russian game hunter, big game hunter, like he is in this, but they based it off of a Russian short story from 1924 called The Most Dangerous Game. So in that, there was a Russian big game hunter who then started hunting humans for sport. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko based this character off of that. There's a whole lot more backstory on this character from his history in the comics, but if I was to tell you about it, it would spoil some things in the movies, so I won't go there. But if you are interested in that, look into it. It's really fascinating, and honestly, they could have done another movie or a trilogy, but they're planning on this just being a standalone, one-time story, and that's kind of unfortunate, but be that as it is. So because of that, don't stick around in the theater when the trailers start or when the credits start, because there's not going to be an after credits scene. That's it. So Midwestern Movie Reviewer says, if you like a thirst trap and you enjoy an anti-hero comic book based movie, go see Kraven the Hunter in theaters now. It's fun. It's an enjoyable time at the movies. It's not the best. It's not a Deadpool or something like that, but it's darn good and fun entertainment. Midwestern Movie Reviewer out.